All right, what's up, you all? And welcome back to another fun-filled show this evening. Today's title is White Erasure and the Blackening of Society. Now, we know that these terms, white and black, are code words, one describing God and one describing Satan. Um, so we know that things like whiteness and white supremacy and systematic oppression, capitalism, patriarchy. These are all code words for God. And we know that social justice, liberation theology, revolution, black power, we know that these LGBTQ uh, power, we know that these things are code words for Satan. Like I said before, and I always say, the enemy is clever. So the devil is not going to come running at you with horns and a pitchfork. He's not going to come at you like that. I'm sorry. Hollywood did a number on you all to make you believe that the devil is going to come to you like a monster, and he's not. There was a quote from a movie where the person that was playing Little Richard, the guy that played Juana Man, I forgot his name, but he says the devil is not going to come to you. I think it might have been in the Ray Charles movie. So the devil's not going to come to you, with horns, the pitchfork. He's going to come to you with a shiny suit and a briefcase. And so because we as people are so prideful and so arrogant, we assume that when the devil appears, we will know how to defeat him, not realizing that the entire time he has literally been entertained by us our entire life. So again, these terms white and black are really terms that are used to describe good versus evil, but the white is seen as evil and the black is seen as good. And like I said before and been saying, the enemy is very clever. What's up, the Ice Cold Wolf? What's up, Moni Sincere? What's up, Zoom 7K? What's up, God is our awesome defender? What's up, Mystic Philly? What's up, Prudence? What's up, That Girl Figgy? What's up, Janan TV? What's up, Tierra? What's up, Ashley? What's up, Rena Bina? Anyway, let's get started. I want to get started with this guy talking about, and I want to preface what I'm saying right now. There's this thing going around, and it's been going around. And again, most of what you'll find is because they have to justify blackness, you have to excuse the behavior. So you'll hear them say that the government is what destroyed the black family. This is what they're going to tell you, that the welfare system destroyed the black family. You can go back and research this on your own, and you can see how many black folks were on welfare, when it increased and when it decreased. You can look this stuff up. The majority of black people were not on welfare. The vast majority of black people worked. Matter of fact, there were more black people employed than white. And when I say white, than black, based on percentages of people. So there were more. So out of the black people that were working and white people that were working, there was a higher percentage of black working than white. So again, this notion of welfare isn't true. Most black people work. They've always worked. Most black people have never been employed at any time in America. Never. It's never happened. Black people have worked. So this notion that the majority of black folks were on welfare, just a bold-faced lie. I'm sorry, it's a lie. But they'll tell you that the government came and offered the black woman some financial incentive for the man to not be in the house. Now, we can agree that culturally back then, it was very uncommon to see a man in the house that wasn't working. This wasn't a common thing. So to even suggest that most black men weren't even working and it was already think about their argument. Their argument is that the black man was living off the black woman. Think about the premise of the argument is the black man was living off the black woman back then. So that means there was a problem from the beginning. If the black man was living off of black women, that's a problem in itself. So they're telling you that the government came to the black woman and said, well, if he's in the house, then you can't get assistance. If that was true, that could only be true if the black man in the house weren't doing anything. They weren't working. And I'm going to be honest with you, the black man not working at home was way more common when I was coming up than it was back then. We can agree to that. We can agree that most black men didn't want to live off government assistance back then, nor live off of a woman. When I was coming up, I think in my generation, I started seeing men that weren't like my grandfather. You started seeing a great difference between my grandfather and my father. It was a huge difference. So that's when I started seeing black men not owning homes, not working. Every older black person I knew had a house. All the old black folks had houses, usually land, usually had a boat to go fish. I'm just telling you what I saw. I never saw sorry older black people. It didn't exist. It was whole black neighborhoods filled with black people that owned them. Think about it. I'm from Sacramento, California. Some of y'all may know what it is, Sacramento, California. But I'm from Sacramento, California, and there aren't that many projects. Black people own their homes. And so this notion that the government was able to come in and trick the black woman, there had to have already been a compromise if that was the case. I'm telling you it wasn't the case. It wasn't true. It's not true. Even if the government came to you and said the man can't be in the house, why would you agree and why would the man agree? It just doesn't make any sense because it's not true. It didn't happen. And you'll find that most of the history that you've learned about black was just a way to cover up what black actually is. Not black people, what black actually is. And what black actually is the actual ushering in of the Antichrist. It is Satan on earth. Let's go to this video real quick. Somebody said they got their mom watching. What's up, Mom? Just stick with me, Mom. Don't run off too quick. Just stick with me a little bit. I'm getting somewhere.
1942. I was sitting on my step. And see, a white man came to my house and said, "Hey, little boy, is your mother and father home?" I said, "No, my mother's home." He said, "Can you speak to your mother?" Back in the days, a man didn't go into your house unless the man was there. So my mother came out on the step. He said, "I want to talk to you and your husband about something." When Daddy came home, the man came to my house, and we came and sat on the steps. And so the man told my mother, "If your husband don't come to the house, and I stop coming to the house, she can get $15 a month, some kind of welfare thing." A lot of the people took it up. Pretty soon the woman's out there cheating, the man is out there cheating. Because we lost, they broke up the male responsibility of the household. That's why we on welfare today. Every generation of generation. That's when welfare started. If you don't think I'm lying, Google it. 1943, that's when the white man came to my mother's house and told my mother and father, if they separate, he don't live there no more, we can get $15 extra a week. And now today's bill. You got the great-grandmother on welfare, the grandmother on welfare, the mother on welfare, the children on welfare, and the grandchildren on welfare today.
So you know that black people lie, right? So you know that he's lying. Now let's dissect how before we get into some numbers, let's just dissect how we know he's lying.
1942. I was sitting on my step. And see, a white man came to my house and said, "Hey, little boy, is your mother and father home?" I said, "No, my mother's home." He said, "Can you speak to your mother?" Back in the days, a man didn't go into your house unless the man was there. So my mother came out on the step. He said, "I want to talk to you and your husband about something." When Daddy came home, the man came to my house, and we came and settled with steps. And so the man told my mother, if your husband don't come to the house, and I stop coming to the house, she can get $15 a month, some kind of welfare thing. A lot of the people.
Now, this man is older now, so, and he's black, so he's going to lie. So what are the chances that he remembered this thing from when he was a child? What are the chances that he remembered this conversation in detail from when he was a child? So imagine a white man. We don't know who the white man is. We don't know who he works for. Just a random white man. He comes and says, your husband. Now think about this. Now think about a white man telling a black woman while her husband is standing there that we're going to give you $15 extra a week to put him out the house. Just think about what he just said. A random white man comes to the house and has the woman and her husband standing there. He turns to her and says, if he doesn't come back to the house, we're going to give you, he went from $15 a month to $15 a week. Well, let's just say $15 a week. So let's just say we're going to give you a $60 extra a month if this man doesn't come back to the house. Then he turns to the man and says, sir, if you don't come back to the house, we're going to give her $60 extra a month. It doesn't even make any sense. Do you know how offensive that would have been in 1942? Could you imagine the offense men would have taken to another man coming and telling him to leave his family? It would have started a war. It would have started a war. Those are fighting words. Ma'am, if your husband leaves, we're going to give you extra money. Sir, if you leave, we're going to give her extra money. It would have been offensive. So if this story is true, then black people are worse than we thought. If this welfare story, if this welfare man out the house story is true, then black people are worse than we thought. Because what nation of people would sacrifice their entire family for a few extra dollars a month? That means black people were not just pathetic, but also wicked. For the woman to agree and the man to agree, that was wicked. Let's continue.
People took it up. Pretty soon the woman's out there cheating, the man is out there cheating. Because they broke up the male responsibility of the household. That's why we all...
They broke up the male responsibility in the household. How in the world can the government make you as a man abandon your responsibilities in your house? If I put a question on a sheet of paper and asked a group, everybody, I did a global survey. Can the government make you abandon your responsibility in the house? What group of people do you think would say yes? What group of people do you think would say yes to that question? Only one group. You see, what nobody wants to do is address the cultural lack of character among black people. If this story is true, then it's not an indictment on the government. It's an indictment on black people. The government has these programs created to help people that are in need. So the program's going to be there regardless. The programs are going to be there. But for you all to tell me that black people were willing to sacrifice their family when the woman already had a man in the house working, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense unless black people are the worst people on the planet. So if you're not going to say that, then this is a lie.
Welfare today. Every generation, a generation. That's when welfare started. If you don't think I'm lying, Google it. 1943, that's when the white man came to my mother's house and told my mother and father, if they separate, he don't live there no more, we can get $15 extra a week. And now today's bill. You got the great-grandmother on welfare, the grandmother on welfare, the mother on welfare, the children on welfare, and the grandchildren on welfare today.
So again, there aren't that many black people on welfare. You cannot push a man out of his household. It's just not possible. Now, you can push a weak man out. You can push a sorry man out, but you can't push a real man out of his household. It's not going to happen. He's going to go to war. So if this happened, then this means that black men are weak. I don't know why folks get mad at me when they keep repeating something that really says that black men are weak. You're telling me the government came to the black family and said the man had to leave if the woman wanted more money, and the man did it? That's weak. So my question is, when I say it, why do I get so much pushback? If you all agree with the story. I'm just saying. There's no way this happened. And in 2025, we are going to shatter. 2025 is going to be about the black man. I'm going to get back to black women in 2026. 2025 is going to be about the black man and where he's dropped the ball. Because the problem is we're trying to fix this relationship problem with men and women. It's not going to work. The man has to be right first. Then we can address the relationship. We cannot put the cart before the horse. The horse is the man, the black man, being responsible to the purpose that God has given him. That's what 2025 is all about. I'm shutting down every single excuse from a black man. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't care if the KKK burnt your house down. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't care if the police hit you upside your head. I don't care if the good old boys came out in the streets and tied you up and beat you. I don't care. I don't want to hear no more excuses. No more. Enough is enough. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, but if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. He has denied the faith and he is worse than an infidel. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. If a man is not leading his house, he is in sin. If a man is not leading his house, he is in sin. Find the scripture real quick. And I'm going to get to the white erasure because all of this stuff goes back to it's an anti-white propaganda. And again, because all of these things shift the responsibility of black people onto white people. I'm trying to find Ecclesiastes 7:26. I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands is bands. Whoso pleases God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So if a woman is ruling over you, that is a sin. So if you left the house because the government said they were going to give her more money, that is a sin. If you are not leading your household, it is a sin. It's a sin. I'm going to read 1 Timothy again. 1 Timothy 5:8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Hold on one second. An infidel is a person who does not believe in religion or who adheres to a religion other than one's own. Idol worshiper, false god worshiper, Satan worshiper. So now we know that a man not leading is a sin. Let's continue.
I think that Black women are the least protected in America, 3Ks. I think that Black men are the most underappreciated when they do things right and the most overly scrutinized when they make a mistake. And I know a lot of sisters are going to disagree with me, but the reality is we live in a culture that today wants to put the Black woman above the Black man in order to cause division. So society is always pretending to support and love us, pretending to appreciate and value us, while the Black man gets left by the wayside. And that is just a reality. And I think that the more Black women recognize that, the more we can have more empathy and more compassion and more act right towards our Black men, because y'all deserve better. You really do.
Y'all don't deserve anything. The problem with the world is people feel like they're owed something. You aren't owed anything. It is only by God's grace and mercy that God chooses to love us. We aren't owed anything. We don't deserve anything. And most people take an entitled position when it comes to this thing called life. Most people inflate their own worth to this planet. If human beings cease to exist, this planet would not stop moving. Think about it. If human beings stop existing, the planet keeps going. You aren't that important. You aren't that smart. You aren't that good. Just by God's grace, we have a chance to be spared. But even her position for the Black man is not of her seeing him as a real man. She sees him as a child. She sees him as a man that cannot fend for himself. Listen to how she's talking about Black men. And if I was a man and she talked to me like that, I would have a problem. If my woman doesn't think that I can move mountains, I don't need to be with her. If my woman doesn't think that I'm Superman, I don't need to be with her. If I tell my woman that a duck could pull a truck, she needs to say, well, shut up and hook the sucker up. Your woman, fellas, is supposed to look at you as almost close to God. Not saying that you are God, but her respect and reverence for you, you should be God-like on the earth. There should be no water in the house, and she believes somehow, some way, you're going to make some water appear in the house. That's how your woman should feel about you. Most black women don't feel that way about black men. Listen to her rhetoric. Do you think her rhetoric is that of a man that she respects? She feels sorry for black men.
While I think that black women are the least protected in America 3Ks, I think that black men are the most underappreciated when they do things right and the most overly scrutinized when they make a mistake. And I know a lot of sisters are going to disagree with me, but the reality is we live in a culture that today wants to put the black woman above the black man in order to cause division. So society is always pretending to support and love us, pretending to appreciate and value us, while the black man gets left by the wayside. And that is just a reality. And I think that the more black women recognize that, the more we can have more empathy and more compassion and more act right towards our black men, because y'all deserve better. You really do.
And the winning walk with Christina said, she said empathize and sympathize. How about respect? You can't respect someone that you empathize and sympathize for. She doesn't respect black men. And it's clear in what she's saying. She didn't say, I know black men can do it. She didn't say, I know black men can do anything they put their mind to. She said they're getting left by the wayside. She said they're being overly scrutinized and overly punished. And my response to her would be, so what? So what the black man's being overly scrutinized? And so?
While I think that black women are the least protected in America 3Ks, I think that black men are the most underappreciated when they do things right and the most overly scrutinized when they make a mistake. And
so what? So what? God never said you're going to be on this earth and be appreciated. God said you can have all of this, but not without persecution. So if the black man wasn't so weak and pathetic, he wouldn't take offense to this thing called life, which he most often does. The black man is weak. Any kind of hurdle, roadblock, stumbling block, mountain, obstacle, anything in his path, he immediately starts to cry and complain and point the finger, as if every man isn't thrusted with the same path, the path of most resistance, the path to build character. This is one of the great downfalls of the black man. He doesn't believe in character. He doesn't believe that if he really tries and puts his all into something and he fails, he doesn't believe that he has enough courage and gumption and gall to pick himself back up and try again. Most black men are a one-trick pony, a one-shot wonder. If plan A doesn't work, they wouldn't dare go to plan B.
while I think that black women are the least protected in America 3Ks, I think that black men are the most underappreciated when they do things right and the most overly scrutinized when they make a mistake. And
so what if the black woman is the most unprotected? Then whose fault is that? If the black woman isn't protected, then that means that the black man isn't protecting her. I don't hear Asian women saying we're the least protected. I don't hear white women saying we're the least protected. I don't hear Hispanic women saying we're the least protected. I only hear black women saying that. So that means that black women unanimously agree that the black man doesn't have enough strength or courage to protect her. Which is why I say that most black women don't respect black men. They don't look at him as a man. They look at him as a failure they feel sorry for. That's different. So if the black man is underappreciated, I say to that, so what? If the black man is overly criticized, I say to that, so what? What is a man promised in this life? Nothing. America even says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It don't say life, liberty, and guaranteed happiness. It says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because happiness is your choice. It's not owed to you. So the black man on this earth believing that he's supposed to have some easy ride, that folks are supposed to take it easy on him, is a cowardly disposition. He's a coward and he's weak. And this woman thinks that she's doing something nice for the black man, not realizing that she's exposing just how pathetic he really is.
And I know a lot of sisters are going to disagree with me, but the reality is we live in a culture that today wants to put the black woman above the black man in order to cause division. So society is always pretending to support and love us, pretending to appreciate and value us, while the black man gets left by the wayside. And that is just a reality.
So, listen to what she said. She said society is elevating the black woman, and the black man's response is to go by the wayside. She's saying that society, the government, the powers that be are elevating black women, and the black man's response isn't to fight against it, isn't to be more courageous, isn't to be more honorable, isn't to show more character, isn't to fight. The black man's response to this agenda is to walk to the sideline. She just said the black man is getting left by the wayside as if he is not in control of his own destiny. This is what I mean when I say the black man is weak. Look and listen to how she's talking about black men. She's giving them no agency. She's literally saying that you black men, can't control your destiny at all. You literally are at the mercy of these powers that be. And I know she means well, but her message is very detrimental, but it's also revealing, because it reveals how most black women feel about black men. They don't respect you, black men. They don't honor you, black men. They have pity for you. And eventually, pity turns into contempt. Women have about an ounce of empathy, sympathy, and pity for a man. An ounce. A woman has an ounce of that in her. It will get used up quickly, because she's going to say, wait a minute, this is a grown man. And then she's going to say, well, if I could do it, then why can't he do it? She just said that the black man's response to this whole thing is to let someone scoot him to the sideline, push him to the wayside. And he's content with that. The black man is weak and he is disgusting. And in fact, the black man's existence, his mere existence, is anti-white. Because the black man's existence, his mere being, means that white people are oppressing him.
And I think that the more black women recognize that, the more we can have more empathy and more compassion and more act right towards our black men.
More empathy and more compassion and more act right But she never said that he earned it. She never said that he earned this. She never said that he did something to deserve this. She just said, do this for him because he's weak and pathetic and he can't fight his own battles. This is why you should know that all that stuff y'all saw in the 50s and 60s, all that revolutionary protest, marching, all that stuff was fake. What she's describing right here is the real black man. That stuff was for TV, communist propaganda. What she's describing right here, the guy that's too afraid to fight, the guy that sees death in the face and runs, the guy that sees society putting his woman above him and he just lets himself be ushered to the sideline, that's who black man, the black man is. That's who black men are. Not what they showed you in the 60s and the 50s and all of the warriors, none of that stuff. This is the black man right now, what she's describing. And if you're a black man, you should be offended by this and you should be disgusted. Y'all should have built 50 pyramids by now in the United States just based on what she said. There should have been 50 pyramids built just based on what she said. How she can so comfortably talk about you all like y'all are just the lowest things on the earth, just weak and pathetic and cowardly.
Because y'all deserve better. You really do.
The black man doesn't deserve anything. He deserves what America is offering him. That is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what he deserves, and that's all. And any man that wants more than that is a coward. He's a simp. He's a beta. He is a spineless sea urchin, a slug. Let's continue. And again, the black man's existence is a part of white erasure. Today's title is White Erasure and the Blackening of Society. And the fact that a black man exists, it gives the notion that there is another way to be a man. The black man's existence lets the world know that the traditional man is now optional. You can be like him. You can be cowardly. You can be weak. You can be filled with excuses. But as long as you look the part, everything is okay. So the mere existence of the black man is literally a part of the anti-white agenda. Because now millions upon millions of children are looking at these black men who have platforms, who have stages, who have elevated in life. They're looking at them and they're saying, I can do what they're doing and make it. Even though they're displaying the worst character, even though they'll have $1 billion and still blame the white man, the child says, I can be a billionaire and still point the finger and still make excuses. Neek said, a black dude said no one can tell him how to be a man. Hence why most black men ain't men. Ain't men. Amen. Most black men ain't men. Because can't nobody tell them how to be a man. Even though nobody showed them how to be a man. It makes sense, Neek. It makes all the sense. 2025, we are going to shut down all of these excuses. The black man's existence is a threat to our global sovereignty. His existence is going to affect everything we see in this world because it is a grown man that's allowed to have an excuse. He's allowed to be a coward. He actually makes being a coward fashionable. He makes being weak cool. He makes being a simp desirable. The black man's not just a threat to white people, he's a threat to the world. Because his existence is anti what God created. Let's continue.
Get this right. Us as black people, we done been through slavery. We done been through oppression, segregation, depression. We done went through racist cops killing all our leaders. We done went through the government killing all our leaders. The government putting a bunch of shit in all our food we eat so they break us down. We done went through getting put in certain motherfucking areas that we're all at that are poverty riddled so we can't get nowhere. We done went through getting dropped in motherfucking jungles, and then when we turn the lines and eat everybody, didn't we go to jail for it? We done went through legal slavery, mental slavery, motherfucking financial slavery, institutionalized slavery. Or a woman has been put through getting a man took from them, getting welfare all crazy, making it seem like they don't need the man. A woman will tell.
Again, you're going to be hard pressed to find a black man on social media, on a stage, on a podcast, at a forum. You're going to be hard pressed to find a black man that is not filled with excuses. This man is saying all of this with a huge gold chain around his neck. A chain of that size costs how much you think? How much does that chain cost? About 100,000? How much does that chain cost around his neck? So he's telling you that throughout our entire history, there's been no agency, that black people have not been able to make any decisions. But somehow, some way, at the end of the story, he's talking to you with a $100,000 chain on. Mystic Philly said $10. Kofi said he probably stole it. The Winnie Walker Christina said, I doubt it's real. You'd be surprised of how these black men do. They'll spend what they don't have to get something that's real. I mean, I don't put it past them. They don't have any morals or scruples, so I don't put it past them that this chain is real. I'm simply saying all he's told you is that he has an excuse.
Tell her man not to put his name on a leash just to continue getting food stamps, Section 8, all that, instead of really building up. So let's just think, we done been through all that. And as women and men, we still want to treat each other like shit. White people never do that. They never had that feeling. But why when it come to our race, we done been through all that, got over that, and now we treat each other like the enemy. Niggas want to get rich and go move with the white people, instead of getting rich and making their whole community so good that it's like the white people's and our property value is raised.
Black people don't leave the inner city because they want to be around white people. Black folks leave because they can't stay. It's because they can't stay. Because when someone knows you have something in the black community, they're going to come and take it. Ask me, I have plenty of stories. I grew up in the inner city. My mother worked for the state of California. I remember when we got a new garage. We got the push start garage, security lights, all the bells and whistles, and the dope fiends came and stole the security light. Imagine, this is how diabolical black folks are. Imagine a light designed to alert you of a person on your property or an intruder, and they steal that. They stole my mother's security light. So the reason why black folks gonna move around to white folks is because white folks don't steal security lights. My mom had to get bars around the house because they was breaking in the house. Stole a VCR one time, stole some clothes one time, just black folks being black. Wasn't no unity. So my mom had to get bars around the house. So if you go to California, everybody's house has a big security door in front of it. That big steel iron security door, everybody has that. That's how much people were breaking into houses in California. That door is a standard. Nicodemus said, to be fair, in South Irish, the Southie Irish were killing the Italians and vice versa. True, there's always conflict, but I guarantee they weren't making movies, TV shows, and music glorifying it. And I guarantee it wasn't in the same amount of numbers either. I guarantee that the Irish and Italian fighting wasn't accounting for over 50% of the homicides in the country. See, the difference is when other races do something that's bad, it's shunned upon and it's frowned upon. When black folks do it, it's elevated and it's celebrated. That's the difference. So again, the reason why people are moving out of the black neighborhoods is because they can't stay.
No nigga wants to work on niggas no more. They just want to say fuck their whole city and move out of it instead of getting it better. And we still put each other through shit. That's
Now, what he said was a bunch of nonsense and utter foolishness. But the majority of black people agree with him. The majority of white liberals agree with him. The majority of liberals agree with him. The majority of people agree with what he said. And what he said was an absolute lie. Just a bunch of niglet babble that won't amount to anything, but a bunch of likes and views. Kofi said, you see those same metal doors and gates in front of the house in Africa. Black is black no matter where you live. I can't argue that. I can't argue that. The obligity is obligity. Tish said there's more marriage between Irish and Italian even a decade ago than fighting. We know. I think Nicodemus was trying to let everybody know that everybody's not fighting. I know he's saying that everybody fights. It's true. Human nature is human nature. It's true. But black folks have made this a culture. Black folks, 49% of the homicides in the black community go unsolved. Think about that. 49% go unsolved. That's a lot of killing with no responsibility, no accountability. And again, the black man's existence is anti-white. Remember, anti-white is anti-God, pro-black is pro-Satan. And again, the black man, his existence gives an option for being a man. Before, the standard for being a man was this. Now there's another option to being a man. And the option of the black man means that if the black man can be like this and still be a man, then that means a woman can be a man. That means that LGBTQ are still men. That means that if a woman is strong enough, she's a man. You see what happens when you lower the standard of a man, then everybody can be a man. Then you look down the road, being a man means nothing. And that's the ultimate goal of Satan. Beyond white erasure, beyond the blackening of society, The goal of Satan is for the man to not exist. Because if the man doesn't exist, the woman and children are finished anyway. Mission accomplished. That's why the Bible says that 1 Timothy 5:8, but if any man provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So if you are not a man, and being a man means that you guide, provide, and assume the responsibility. If you aren't a man, you are literally seen as a person that is worse than a person that worships false gods. Think about that. A man not being a man is worse than a person that's out there worshiping Satan outright. Let's continue.
All praise due to the Most High, God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and the mighty King David. Hallelujah. Sing. Shine, shine your light and bless us with your grace. Father, we need your spirit, come fill this empty space. We need you, lost without you, down here in this wicked place. Please, Yahweh. We living in a dark world. I'm not talking about skin, talking about a wicked world. Blood stay on our hand like the butcher. Now they kidnapping these kids, take them to the butcher. Father, do you hear me? We being wiped out by enemies. This can't be right. We need your light in our life. Uncover our eyes with your sight.
So this is an artist named King Malachi. His album just dropped, State of Emergency, but I want you to notice the imagery of what he's showing in this video. So he's showing a war between white and black. He has spaceships, angels, warriors, and they're fighting against the quote unquote white army. This is still a part of the anti-white agenda, as if his enemy is white people. As if his enemy is white people. Look at this self-entitled position he's taking. That black folks are automatically righteous. They're automatically the good ones. They're automatically on God's side. He even puts angel wings on himself. Look at the position that black people take. It's one of pride and arrogance and entitlement. This is why the gospel is truly from God, because the gospel keeps a person in a constant state of humility. So even though Christ was God in the flesh, he still allowed himself to not just be human, but to also serve. I want you to think about how many levels God comes down when he comes to earth. Not only is he human, but he's also a servant of people who don't deserve it. This is why Christ is the ultimate example. We have to be in a constant state of humility, because being in that state, we're always looking up. We're never looking down. We're always looking up. I don't know everything. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the best. I need Jesus. I can't do it alone. This is why the gospel is the truth, because of the state that it puts man in. And it puts him in the most humble position. So guess what? That he can receive and get revelation. You're not going to get revelation in arrogance. You're not going to get revelation in pride. You're going to get revelation the moment you realize, and you step down and you realize, wait a minute. The moment you say, I was wrong, boom. I was tripping, boom. You're not going to be, you don't get a revelation, you sitting there cutting up. We the chosen people. Just imagine, God forbid, just imagine some chosen people on the planet. Just think about the average person is a scumbag. What are the chances of a whole group of people being God's chosen people but acting right? What are the chances of millions of chosen people and they have good character? What are the chances? It's not reality. The chosen people have to choose God. The chosen people have to choose God. How is bringing to light racism equals pride? That's a good question. So basically, when you are bringing up racism, what you're really bringing up is an anti-white rhetoric. What you're saying is that white people are the cause of where you are, even though it's not true. So when you say racism, I'm going to ask you, what is racism? If you tell me it's police shootings, I'm going to show you statistics that shows that everybody gets shot by the police. So that can't be true. So what is racism? Because there's no laws on the books that are racist. So whatever you show me, I'm going to show you other races that have the same thing. And then all they're going to say is that's not true, but he won't be able to back it up. And so again, this racism narrative is a false narrative. America isn't racist. If America was racist, then you have to show me an example of a racist country. Because what are you basing it on? What are you basing America being racist on? Show me the country model that you're saying, okay, that's not a racist country. So we can compare and contrast. What percent of the people is exonerated? What color are they? What are you talking about? I don't like emotional men because emotional men aren't very articulate. They can't convey a message. Just say what you got to say. If we go to history, everybody is guilty. Nobody is innocent. Where we are in the world today has been a contribution by all of human society. You can pick the most wicked thing you think, and I'll show you other people that did it too. So when it comes to murder, killing, slavery, everything you think is bad, every group has done it. To other groups. There is no group holding the mantle for being the worst on the planet. What color is most exonerated man? What is he talking about? This is why I can't. This is why I don't listen to him. 2025 is about shutting these black men's mouth. Enough's enough. We tired of listening to him. I am.
All praise due to the Most High.
Most shootings are committed by black people. So there's actual stats on this. Most school shootings are committed by black people. There's a school shooting in the black community almost every day. See, the media just highlights when a white person does it. But black folks shoot up schools, football games, parties, the mall. Black folks shoot up everything.
All praise due to the Most High, God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and the mighty King David. Hallelujah. Sing. Shine, shine your light and bless us with your grace. Father, we need your spirit, come fill this empty space. We need you, lost without you, down here in this wicked place. Please, Yahweh. We living in a dark world. I'm not talking about skin, talking about a wicked world. Blood stay on our hand like the butcher. Now they kidnapping these kids, take them to the butcher. Father, do you hear me? We being wiped out by enemies. This can't be right. We need your light in our life. Uncover our eyes with your sight.
The footage being shown tonight is backed by fair use, doctrine for educational and commentary purposes. The channel host, he is Blanchard, does not claim ownership of the content being reviewed. Thank you, Angel. But anyway, so the position of this video is that black people are righteous with God and white people aren't. It's just not true. Human beings are human beings, which means there are good human beings and bad human beings. What they've done, they said that there's sin, but then there's racism. So what they've done, they've made you believe that racism is a separate category of a person being sinful. If a person is racist, that means they're just sinful. It's no different than a person being a liar, a cheater, a murderer. Racist is the same thing if they're racist. So we've put a great importance on someone being racist without really having to prove what racism is. And again, if this was such a true thing, then Africa, if what everybody's saying is true, then there's no way that Africa would be in the state that it's in. It's no way. If it's a whole nation of what you call black people, they run their own governments, they're 99.9% black, and it's in shambles. They got the most resources. They got the largest land mass per square foot. They got everything they need, and it's in shambles. So either we're going to just say that black people are inferior to white people, or we're going to just say it's not true.
Dear black men, us white women love you. Cheers to the snow bunnies. Dear black men, us white women love you. Cheers to the snow bunnies.
The person on Instagram said Africa has been corrupt and invaded. I'm going to ask you all a question. If I have a fortress and I have a military and an army, and someone comes and conquers me, what does that say about them, and what does it say about me? If I have a fortress with an army and someone's able to come and conquer me, what does that say about me, and what does it say about them? If I have a government and someone is able to come and bribe me with money, what does that say about me, and what does it say about them? If you get conquered by someone, it's because you're inferior. It's simple. If you get conquered by someone, it is because you are inferior to them. Period. There's no way getting around it. If someone is able to bribe you with money, you have poor character. The devil is not going to tempt you with what you don't want. You don't catch a rat with celery. You catch a rat with peanut butter. Most animals love peanut butter. So rats love peanut butter. If you put celery on a trap, you're not going to catch the rat. So in other words, if you put things like honor, principles, character, morals, standards, you're not going to be able to trick black people with that. You're not going to be able to get black people with those things. You got to put what they want on the table. You got to put pride, money, stunting, sexual deviancy, no morals, low character. That has to be on the table to get black folks' attention. So again, if you are being tempted by evil and you succumb to it, it's because you are evil. And if someone comes and conquers you, it's because you are weaker than them. It's nothing, no way to get around it. All this making up new scenarios because you're weak is not going to fly anymore in 2025. I'm sorry. So if the white man conquers you, it's because the white man is superior and you're weak. That's it. If the white man bribes you, it's because you don't have any character. All these white folks running around, not all, but some, running around saying what the Jews did when it came to money lending and the interest rates. And I'm saying the Bible says you're supposed to be the lender and not the borrower. So when the Jews came with y'all borrowing money, you should have said no, because it goes against God's word. The Bible says that we are the head and not the tail, the lender, not the borrower. So you had to violate God's word to even be in debt with the Jews. Do I blame the Jews? No. Do I blame white people? No. I'm saying that if you succumb to anything evil, it's because you're evil, period. A bad tree can't bear good fruit, and a good tree can't bear bad fruit. So if anybody tricks you and deceives you, it's because you have poor character. If anybody conquers you, it's because they're stronger than you. If anybody beats you in a race, it's because they're faster. If anybody beats you in a fight, it's because they're a better fighter. But why is when it comes to black people, that ain't the case? It's the case. So if the white folks came from the mountains and the caves and they conquered the mighty kings and queens, then that means y'all was weak. If y'all got conquered by some cavemen, y'all was weak. Africa got colonized by everybody. Spanish, Portuguese, French, English, everybody conquered Africa. The whole world saw Africa and said, let's get them. Even the Dutch, the people that wear wooden shoes conquered Africa. The people that are known for wooden shoes and chocolate, they even conquered the black folks, the Africans. The world ran a train on Africa. Mighty kings and queens, ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, gods of the earth, all that stuff, and the world ran a train on Africa. A train. Everybody picked them. They said the Jews in the slave trade, whites in the slave trade, the French, the Arabs dominated the slave trade, English, Spanish, everybody. Y'all couldn't defeat nobody? Think about this. Y'all couldn't defeat nobody? Y'all couldn't defeat anybody? Even the people that's wearing wooden shoes? The Dutch are known for smiling, chocolates, windmills. The Dutch ain't known for no kind of, but they ain't known for that. Y'all lost to them? There's no excuse. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. White people came from the mountains and conquered advanced civilizations. But you're telling me they're inferior and you're superior. How is that possible? It doesn't even make any sense. It's an anti-white agenda. That's what it is. It's a way to forever point the finger at white people. It is an internal indictment against white people, even though Africans had the slave trade. Even though black folks in America had slaves. How is it that only one group of people are tasked with morality of the world? White people. Slavery was a global thing. It was normal. But only one group of people got an answer for it. Isn't that kind of strange? Isn't that weird that Arabs, Portuguese, Spanish, French, English, everybody was a part of the slave trade. Africans, everybody was a part of it, but only one group of people has to answer for it. That's crazy. And look at this, nigga. Look at him. Listen what he says, y'all. Because he can't refute what I'm saying. Look what he says. By this man's logic, a thief is superior, a robber is superior. Think about what he's saying. Think about what he's saying. He's using words like thief and robber and not conquered. When y'all literally say they conquered y'all. Now they stole from y'all? What they steal? Your freedom? W 2025, we shutting it down. Kofi said, but Blast, we still superior when it comes to sports and dancing. They still can't dance like us. The reason we can move so well is because we got the God gene in us. Y'all have the God gene? Yeah, Blanche, we got the God gene. So why can't y'all build nothing? Why you acting like a sellout, Blanche? What you mean, Bill? Every time we build something, Blanche, they tear it down. You got the God gene, right? We got the God gene. So why don't y'all create something they can't destroy? If y'all got the God gene and you got the melanin, you got all this stuff, then create something they can't destroy. If the white man can destroy everything y'all build, it just further goes to my point that y'all are inferior to the white man. But we got the melanin, Blair. We got the God gene. They're not going to hold anybody account for slavery except white people. I'm going to say this again. White erasure, getting rid of white people, is about getting rid of God. That's what it's about. It is about getting rid of God. I'm not saying white people are gods. I'm saying that when people think about God, the closest thing to it is Western society. It is the most civil place on the planet. You can go to the poorest white community and the crime ain't the same as it is in the black community. The murders it ain't the same. Then white folks can have on no shoes, no teeth in their mouth, and they still act like black folks act. What's up, Cruise Missile? Thank you so much for the super stick. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Vintage Goods Willie. The image of the Baphomet has 3 images combined: man, woman, and beast. It does. That is the Baphomet. It does. Willie Doc, thank you so much. Super Thank you so much, sir. And Miss Reed. But Blanche, they copy our culture. Y'all run around here with y'all done, thank you, Miss Reed. Y'all done pick some tribe they be showing, some tribe somewhere in some island that got blonde hair, and y'all be like, that's why black women be wearing blonde weaves. I'm like, y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Right, Ashley? Jesus said, love your neighbor. We are supposed to pray for our enemies. If y'all really felt like white folks y'all enemies, then y'all should be praying for them. Why I need to travel? Where I got to travel to? Where I got to travel to? I'm curious. Where I got to travel to? I'm curious. Where I got to travel to where I'm going to see the opposite of what I'm saying? Pretty Liddy said, pray for the Jews then. Supposed to pray for all your enemies. Supposed to pray for all your enemies. I know it's cap. That's all. I know it's cap. I want to know where I got to travel to see what I'm seeing as what I'm not seeing. That's what I got to know. Where I got to travel to. Let me know. What am I missing? What am I missing? I'm going to give you an example of anti-white propaganda. Watch this.
I want every black woman to know this. White women make fun of you and they laugh at you. Pay attention to me. White women make fun of you and they laugh at you. And it's really important for you to know, because what do you do other than try to imitate the white woman? Imagine how pathetic you look when you try to wear her hair on your head. Like it's a hat. You put her hair on top of your head and you try to wear your hair like her.
The white man does fight the Muslims. Matter of fact, they went in there to fight the Muslim with no weapons of mass destruction. White folks fight Muslims all the time. White folks fight Muslims all the time. Matter of fact, white folks not only fight Muslims, but they also aid the Jews in fighting Muslims too. White people fight Muslims. That ain't white people fight Muslims. Quote unquote, white people, white America. They fight Muslims. We already went through the Crusades a couple of weeks ago.
I want every black woman to know this. White women make fun of you and they laugh at you. Pay attention to me. White women make fun of you and they laugh at you. And it's really important for you to know, because what do you do other than try to imitate the white woman?
You can travel pretty much anywhere outside of this world, this third world country called America. But what am I going to see though? See, the funny thing is, if you go to another country, it's not like America. You see, what people do is they go to other countries with American money and an American passport. They don't go to these countries and live off the land. They don't do that. They go to these other countries with American money, American passport, and American citizenship. That's a different kind of life than it is for you to go over there, leave everything behind, and say, I'm going to live with these people. That's totally different. America is not a third world country because we have a middle class. There is no third world country in the world with a middle class. None. And again, this is all a part of the anti-white agenda. It's a way to make you believe and look at America as being bad and everybody else is good because they aren't America. Every country has corruption in their government. Only difference is, at least over here, you're going to get some due process. Go to China and cut up. Go to North Korea and cut up. Go to Africa and cut up. Go to another country and cut up and see what happens to you. In America, you get killed, you get slapped on the wrist, you get probation, you get to pay a fine, you have a lawyer, you can't afford one, they'll give you one. In no way, shape, nor form is America like a third world country. There is no middle class in a third world country, which is the backbone of America. But again, they want you to hate America because they want you to hate white people. Because America is synonymous with white. Not just white, but free white. They get to talk crazy about America. Go talk crazy about China and see what happened to you. Go to these other countries and talk about their governments and see what happens to you. So again, America is not a third world country. It's just not. If you've been to a third, go to Mexico. Anybody been to Mexico? Go to Mexico. That's third world. Canada's not third world. Mexico is. It's a big difference between Mexico and Canada, Mexico and this North America up here. And the further you go down from Mexico, the more third world it get. It go to fourth and fifth world. So again, 2025 is about telling the truth. We got to start shattering these narratives. This guy on Instagram is just over here just selling out. We're going backwards, not forwards. Saying a whole bunch of cliches. We got to fight to stay alive. Just a bunch of foolishness. Black people are the only group of people on the planet that live off of cliches and sayings. It's not going to work anymore. We are 5 years from Agenda 2030. And Black folks, it's good to be Black outside of America because nobody cares about you being Black. Like again, you can enjoy yourself anywhere if you're a decent person. It's not about you being Black. This is what I mean. It's not because you're Black, it's good. It's because you have some sense. I've never had a problem anywhere I go. People tell me all kind of horror stories. I'm like, I don't experience that. So it's not about you being Black. It's about you going somewhere and having some sense. Respecting where you are. Respecting the people and the culture. Nothing to do with being Black. But I guarantee when Black folks leave this country, they're going with American money. When Black folks leave this country, they're going with American money. They're not going to live off the land. They're going with American money. That's a whole different ball game. This guy on Instagram, he's never heard nobody talk like me before. So he on Instagram going crazy. He talking about he gonna get shot by the police. Where you from? They just listen. The Black man is weak. He's pathetic. And in 2025, he will be exposed forever. If you don't believe me, the women on here know. You talk to the average Black man, nothing but excuses. Y'all know. You can try to act like it's not true, but y'all know because y'all date these guys, you know. But anyway, let's continue.
I want every Black woman to know this. White women make fun of you and they laugh at you. Pay attention to me. White women make fun of you and they laugh at you. And it's really important for you to know because what do you do other than try to imitate the white woman? Imagine how pathetic you look when you try to wear her hair on your head. Like it's a hat. You put her hair on top of your head and you try to wear your hair like her hair. You try to lighten your skin to look more like her skin. And she looks down on you and makes fun of you. And I know because they tell me, it's like they have no shame. I want to just share that with you Black women so that you can be yourself and love yourself because when you're trying to emulate them, you look bad.
Again, what he's saying is wrong. The motivation for a black woman to appreciate her natural hair and how she looks naturally shouldn't be because of what white women do. This is still an anti-white message. He's saying that because white women are making fun of you, that should motivate you to do what's right. And I say the message is still bad. I can't appeal to someone else because someone else is noticing a problem with you. That doesn't know. What he's saying is that you should value the opinions of white women so that you change your behavior. That's still a problem. When he could simply have said, you should appreciate how God made you. I don't have to bring anybody else to the conversation. Just appreciate how God made you and let it go. But when you say, do this because white women are talking about you and laughing at you, that's terrible. That's the wrong advice. And dear ladies, you're going to notice two types of men: foolish men or wise men. That's it. There is no plethora of men that you all are going to meet out there. He's either going to be wise or he's going to be foolish. That's it. So it's your job to accept that. Either I'm going to come kind of with a wise man or a foolish man. Right, Ashley? Their identity is not in Christ. And you're right, Adina. No one told him that. These white women are not laughing at you and making fun of y'all. What they're doing is he's making a statement to them and they're laughing at it. White women aren't thinking about y'all. They're not. And the ones that do, it shows. So again, your motivation for doing what's right should simply be because it's the right thing to do. You don't need heaven. You don't need blessings. You should want to do what's right simply because it is the right thing to do. Not because white women feel a certain way, not because white people feel a certain way, but because it's the right thing to do. And most of the black rhetoric out there, 99% of it, is that you should do something based on what white folks have done or what they are doing. They never mention what God wants you to do. I'm telling you, your motivation should be what God's word says, not what another race of people are saying or doing. Let's continue. Let's continue.
In an England where multiculturalism lies in pieces, Luton exemplifies just how much has gone wrong. This small town, just 20 minutes north of London, has become synonymous to the British media with everything that's wrong with Islam. The other week, an entire family of 12 left this street and headed off to join the Caliphate in Syria. This week, 2 men from this boring-looking road were up in court, accused by the police of a plan to blow up a military base. And on the main street, sitting with a coffee, is a convert currently on bail after allegedly distributing leaflets in central London supporting ISIL. So what exactly is happening here?
Interesting.
Like many others, Wasim takes his religion seriously. He goes to this conservative Salafist mosque, and it's clear he and Britain don't understand each other at all. You know, this week David Cameron, the Prime Minister, was saying a lot of Muslims don't see themselves as being British. What do you think about that?
No, we don't, because we're not accepted, let's be honest.
I don't know if people want to accept it or they want to keep lying to themselves. There's nothing English about that town anymore.
Yeah, and so we see the results. I'm trying to find another video. We see the results of this multiculturalism, these terms, these we have to be inclusive, diversity, all these things. These things lead to the erasing of white people. This is a very serious thing. It is very, I joke about it and stuff, but it's actually serious. This is a part of a global agenda, and it's very real and it's very serious. See if I can find this video.
So I find this crazy that people can't see it for what it is, but this image looks like what would happen if you conquered a city. You'd all go to the town centre, you'd celebrate and you'd fly your country's flag and you'd play your country's music. This is Italy, New Year's Eve. And here they are saying, fuck Italy and fuck the police.
Yes, Miss Ree. They get the Indian women's hair over there, and they don't and listen, like I told y'all, those Indians cut that hair off to get rid of all them quote unquote spirits and demons. Y'all just slapping on y'all head and wonder why you getting fibroids and wonder why you can't keep a man and wonder why you got a bad attitude all the time and your skin is breaking out. It's a reason why. You putting demonic hair on your head. Let me see. That girl Figgy said America has become a third world country next to South and Central America when compared to Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. Absolutely not. It's not. America is literally still the protector of the world, still sending out foreign aid. It's impossible. These third world countries don't send other countries billions upon billions of dollars. See, a lot of this stuff that people say, it sounds good. It's just not true. America is still funding the world. Still. How much money did Ukraine get? How much money did Israel get? How many nations are getting all of this stuff? Even Joe Biden left all that stuff in Afghanistan. Left all the money, the equipment. So again, America is not a third world country. We do too much charity. We're helping out too many people. We're the allies to the world. How are we a third world country? What third world country is sending out billions of dollars to the rest of the world? They're not doing it. And again, this stuff just sounds good to say because we've been conditioned with anti-white rhetoric. It's just not true. And I want you to understand that this rhetoric that people are espousing is an anti-God rhetoric. They're just hiding it behind white people. They're just hiding it behind America bad. These immigrants are over in Italy talking about F Italy. They're over in Italy, a country they fled to, a country they're seeking asylum in, and they're saying F Italy, but they don't want to be in their own country. You know why? Because their country is actually a third world country. Their country is actually a third world country. Just imagine, indulge me for a second, imagine a group of people that would leave their country because it's bad, go to another country and make it like the country they just left. Imagine a group of people that would leave the country that they were in because it was bad. Then they go to another country and make it like the country they left that was bad. Those people are evil. I'm sorry I gotta say it like this. It's wicked. It's no different than folks leaving California, leaving New York, going to Texas, or going to these red states and voting Democrat. It's the same thing. It's evil. It's wicked. Now look at him, Benjamin. Look at him. Look at him, Benjamin. Look at him. You wrong on America helping the world. That's the bankers doing it on their behalf. Anybody can pull up. See what I mean? See what I mean? Now I got proof that America sends money. He has a conspiracy that America don't send the money. It's crazy. When they even argue about budgets and bills that contain spending on for other nations. Our taxpayer dollars are going to other countries. And he's saying it's not true. This year, we are going to expose the black man. Because the black man is the single greatest threat to this world. Because his existence, his mere existence, justifies men being cowardly and men being weak. It justifies it. Combat Medics said by 2030, if we don't stand up, the world will be third world. And that's the goal. The goal is to have no borders, to have a global citizen, one world government. Like, that's the goal. The goal is for you to be a number, for you to be a scan somewhere, for you to be a push of a button. That's the goal. Yeah, we funded NATO. Listen, man, again, folks just wanted me to be wrong. That's all. But you wanted me to be wrong doesn't mean I'm wrong. You just want me to be wrong. And I love all of y'all, but enough's enough. The black man has to be either 2025 is going to make him say no more excuses, or it's going to make him just fall off into the brink of obscurity.
That's how you feel before you go in there.
I thought
Why white fragility, and how do we recognize it?
You know, the fragility part is meant to capture how little it takes to set white people off, to set us off into defensiveness. So for many white people, the mere suggestion that white has meaning will cause us to erupt in defensiveness. For many of your listeners, the fact that I'm generalizing right now about white people will set off the defensiveness. Individualism is a really precious ideology for white people.
You tell some very interesting stories in this book. For example, you talk about leading a seminar where 38 out of the 40 people in the room were white, and then one of the participants literally pounds the table and yelling that, white people can't get a job. And everybody who had a job there was white.
It's a kind of delusion. I think that, some people have said it.
Robin DiAngelo was one of the most disgusting libtards known to man. She's disgusting. She's very and guess what? She doesn't realize that once this thing goes down, they're going to string her up first. They're going to string her up first. So what folks don't realize is that all the people that help the enemy, they don't return the favor when they conquer where you are. They just don't. They're going to kill you. They can't trust you. You're going against your own country. You're going against your own people. They're going to cut your head off.
When you're used to 100%, 98 feels oppressive, right? I mean, as a white person, I was just raised to expect the world to be mine in absolutely any field.
Go back and watch Scarface, and there's a scene, there's a famous scene. He looks up in the sky and it's a blimp. It says, "The world is yours." The world is yours concept is not just for white people. I don't know any white person that I've ever met that said, these people lie a lot. They lie. What white person wakes up and says, "The world is mine"? Stop. In the Scarface movie, Tony Montana said, "The world is mine and everything in it, Chico." Again, these white liberals are horrible. They're disgusting. And liberal Jews too. Disgusting. They put an indictment on a whole group of people who ain't thinking about black people. They're not thinking about it. The S&P 100 that came out last year or 2023 talked about, they bragged about all these jobs that were given to people, and white folks made up 1% of the jobs. They bragged about it. People of color got jobs, not white people. Hooray, let's celebrate.
I see myself represented. I see myself represented in all my teachers and my curriculum and my heroes and heroines. And so even the suggestion that we need to make sure we're being fair and including other people seems to set the white collective off.
Visit Every Day is Juneteenth on Instagram.
The white liberal is dangerous because the white liberal validates the propaganda. The white liberal validates white anti-whiteism and validates white erasure. Because essentially what she's saying is that, you know, things being diversified is better. White folks having less power is better. When it should just be the most qualified person should be in a position.
A white guy who started the Black Lives Matter Foundation. It's now defunct. Raised $10 million and gave the money to the police.
Like, can anyone start a BLM in their city and then start collecting funds?
I did a video. I'm going to look it up. But I can't find the article anymore. But Black Lives Matter, the one that was started by a black man in Southern California, and his wife's ex-husband was shot by the police. And he started Black Lives Matter to build a relationship between the police and the community. I can't find the article that I have, but I know I did a video on it, so I'll have to go back and look in my videos. But a black man started Black Lives Matter, and his goal was for a relationship between police and the community, not BLM's global network, which is to be against the police and spread communism. So again, his company was called Black Lives Matter, or his nonprofit was called Black Lives Matter, and Patrisse Cullors and them nonprofit was called Black Lives Matter Global Network.
There's one thing that I want people to know. I'm shouting this from the rooftops, and I was shocked to find this out when I started digging behind the scenes and looking at paperwork when I came onto the board. It was just that. Because it is a rallying cry, it has entered into the lexicon of language in this country, and the federal government has said that it cannot be copywritten. And so it is absolutely true that you and I could start a BLM chapter called Black Lives Matter, Tony and C, and there is nothing that the organization can can do about it. Now, I will say this, that as the formal nonprofit organization holding the majority of the assets, we do own trademarks around the logo, around the brand. We do have access to control the website. We have the social media. And so we are legitimately the largest Black Lives Matter entity that legally exists. But to be honest with you, there are chapters, some of them we're affiliated with and actually have given grants to. Out of that $90 million that poured in 2020, 35 million of it went right back out the door. And some of it went to chapters.
But let me understand.
Now, you know she's lying because the chapters came together and literally complained about not getting any money. You know she's lying because BLM has been exposed. So what is she talking about? Imagine being caught red-handed for stealing and lying and still be given a platform to just lie some more. This is Black privilege. And I keep telling you all that Black people are able to say something and it's believed they're telling the truth. That is the greatest privilege on the planet. For an entire group of people to be able to say a lie and the world believe it. I'm going to find that video I did on that guy because I can't find the articles at all. I can't find it nowhere. It's insanity, the whole thing away. Now I got to go dig and try to find this guy that started Black Lives Matter before these three lesbians got to it.
You correctly. Anyone can pretty much start a BLM chapter, start collecting money, get in trouble, get in the news, and now it's your problem?
Facts. It's
a lie. It is a bold-faced lie. The Black Lives Matter Global Network sent a letter to the guy that started it. He said he never collected money. Folks were sending him money thinking he was the Black Lives Matter, the communist version. He never took the money. They sent money threatening him. So don't tell me what these folks want and can't do. And I'm going to find that video. I'm going to find that article. This woman is lying. She's telling a bold-faced lie. This is why Black folks have problems. There is a huge cultural lack of character. There is no honor in the Black community. There's no honor. Nobody wants to say it. But there's no honor because why would she be honorable when the men she's around aren't honorable? The men set the standard. So when the cat's away, the mice will play. So when women see the men having no character, that they have free reign. She's a liar, a bold-faced liar. I'm going to find that video that I did. I got to say that video is too long.
And there's been a rise in anti-Semitism all over the country right now, and it's disgusting and it's horrible. People should know that one of the first things that the Nazis did, and I think it was in 1933, was they burned Magnus Hirschfeld's gender for sexuality. Magnus Hirschfeld was studying trans people, LGBTQ people. Lily Elby, who the Danish Girl, the film The Danish Girl was about, she had her first gender-affirming procedure at Magnus Hirschfeld's clinic. The Nazis burned it down. All of this research. And there's been a rise in anti-Semitism all over the country right now, and it's disgusting and it's horrible. People should know that one of the first things that the Nazis did, and I think it was in 1933, was they burned Magnus Hirschfeld's gender for sexuality. Magnus Hirschfeld was studying trans people, LGBTQ people. Lily Elby, who the Danish Girl, the film The Danish Girl was about, she had her first gender-affirming procedure at Magnus Hirschfeld's clinic. The Nazis burned it down.
So this is layered anti-white agenda. So when they talk about like anti-Semitism and Nazis and all this stuff, it's just code word for white. Because the idea in everybody's head is that it's white people doing it. People of color have already been seen as not even being able to participate. So like when Kanye says something, they'll say what Kanye West is saying is anti-Semitic. But they'll say that the white person being is anti-Semitic, if that makes sense. Or transphobic or racist or whatever. So this trans woman on here, man, this guy is still an anti-white agenda. It's still saying that white people are anti-Semitic, and it's linked to them also being anti-trans or transphobic or anti-LGBTQ or whatever. It's still the same rhetoric. It's the same thing.
All of this research.
Yes. Ironically, the name is Laverne Cox. It's just amazing how he's just playing everybody's face. We may have time for one more. We may have time for one more. Then I gotta go, y'all. Where is my folder? Here it goes.
That's why we bring it back to the Willie Lynch letters, right? We're gonna hyper-emasculate the woman, and then we're gonna emasculate the black man. And that was.
Now we already know, if you've been following my channel, that the Willie Lynch letters it's not real. No scholar has confirmed it. It's all cap. The Willie Lynch letters were created to justify black decadence. It was used to justify the lack of character in black culture. The Willie Lynch letter is a false talking point. It's not real. So let me go ahead and rewind what he said. Okay.
That's why we bring it back to the Willie Lynch letters, right? We're gonna hyper-emasculate the woman, and then we're gonna emasculate the black man, and that was the agenda. So now, I can't bear kids, right?
So it's a problem.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not here to pass judgment. Only God can do that.
It's a problem.
I'm here to give information. A woman has a particular role, and if she doesn't play that role, there's no family or no family structure.
Mm-hmm.
A man, the black man, has a role he has to play. If he doesn't play that role, there's no family or family structure.
So if anybody is giving you a message, and the message is rooted in what the person's race is or appearance, we know it's a satanic message. It's not that the black man has a role, it's that men have a role, women have a role. Once you make it black man, black woman, you automatically turn it to something wicked and evil. And folks that talk like this, they're not righteous individuals. Because I know if you are basing something off of race, you don't have any character. Because you're either going to use your race to justify something or not be accountable for something. So anybody using race, not a good person. And this guy calls himself smart.
So you've been taught that you're maintaining a child is raising a child as a single mother. So you're thinking that, food, clothes, and shelter, it's not raising a child. That's maintaining a child. To raise a child, you need man and woman in that household. You need a coalition of masculine and feminine energy working simultaneously together. But just because you get support from the government, you mistake the maintenance as the raising, and then now the child is up.
The majority of black women are not on welfare. Black women are bragging about being the most educated, the most CEOs, the most business owners. So the majority of black women are not on welfare. Again, you can't have these talking points that are this big going to the masses of black people. Most black women are not on welfare. Most black women work, period.
because that daughter doesn't see a man in the home, so she doesn't know how to be nurturing for the man that eventually is in her home.
The support from the government, you mean like
Government
Section 8.
yeah, all that type of stuff.
Okay,
Right.
on that.
okay, I got it.
But-
I'm asking because I want it. I want it
but
from
you're-
you.
but you're being-
I
Yeah,
meant
welfare,
a woman
Section
that
8.
has a
Yeah, that type of
successful
stuff.
But you
business.
can't- but you can't-
We're
but
not
you-
talking about Section 8.
You can't.
Is
you
that
can't-
a problem?
You can't. You
I'm not
can't-
talking about Section 8.
you-
Nobody is on
you-
Section 8.
You can't spin me. What I'm saying is Section 8 is the thing.
Nobody's on Section 8.
The government assistance that the black woman receives as an independent has been strategic, and her
Other races of women got government assistance. Welfare wasn't just created for black people. Let me go to this. I was reading some articles today, and let me see. Most studies regarding the effect of welfare benefits on migration decisions of blacks found that during the 1950s and 1960s, locations offering higher AFDC benefits attracted black migrants, often in conjunction with a finding that such locations repulsed whites. This study generally supports that the minority of studies that did not find an attraction of blacks to higher welfare benefits and suggests that misspecification bias drove the results of many studies. The model used here accounts for a variety of economic, social demographics, amenities, and spatial factors. I find no statistically significant evidence that either origin or destination AFDC benefits affected migration decisions of blacks or whites during the 1965 to 1970 period, the time period used for the vast majority of previous empirical studies. This is actually pretty good. It's a race migration and social welfare system during 1950s and 60s, how research can mislead the public debate. Hold on. I'm trying to find. So there's a graph, and from race and the policies of welfare reform from Stanford F. Scram, Joe Sauce, and Richard S. Fording are the editors, University of Michigan, 2003. It says how the poor became black. So there's a graph. I really want to show this graph. Let me go. Let me come back to him. You know what? Second thought. Hold on one second, Joe. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. I'm back, y'all. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I apologize, y'all. Sorry about that. I almost had an emergency. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry, I love y'all. But anyway, I'm sorry. So this graph that is in this article, or I guess this paper really, how the poor became black, it shows like 1936, how many folks were on welfare that were black, and then you see a steady increase from 1936 to 1942, and then to 1948, and to 1953, and to 1960, to 1967, to 1969, and then it started to taper back down. But you see the rise in this, I guess you would call government assistance, going along with this black, bliggity black empowerment movement, social justice. It's just funny how, if you look at this chart, you would be like, well, were they hiring black people less? No, that wasn't the case, because in the other paper I read, 1952, they said black people were working more than white people. So then what happened? There had to have been something on a social level to change the mindset of black people who otherwise weren't on welfare. And this is in 1936. The New World Order came and got blanched. Listen, y'all, my stomach was finna explode. That's why I had to get up. I'm sorry, y'all. I washed my hands. But anyway, but so we see an increase in the percentage of black people on welfare. And we see it going from maybe 13% in 1936 all the way up into almost 45% in 1969. Then you see it going down in 1971, then kind of staying stagnant. But this is a percentage of black people on welfare, not the total amount of black people on welfare, if that makes sense. This is the percentage of welfare that had black people on it. It increased. During this time period, the majority of black people were not on welfare. It's just that the percentage of people that were on welfare were these numbers. So this is still a relatively small portion of the black population that is on this. So this notion that the government came in and did all this stuff is cap, because most black folks weren't on welfare. But yeah. So really, listen, I'm going to continue this. I may finish up tomorrow. But listen, I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Angel Wings and the Goddess Navi. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Vintage Goods Willies. Thank you, Kristen Nicole. Thank you so much. I got to go, y'all. Nature calls. I don't know. I got to go. Listen, I love y'all, and I will see you all soon. Thank y'all so much. I might finish up tomorrow morning. But thank y'all so much. Love y'all.